Take out whatever money you have on you right now. A coin, a note, or just open the banking app on your phone and look at the number sitting there. You use this stuff every single day, and you have probably never once stopped to ask what it actually is. Not what it is worth, what it is. Here is the strange part. That note in your hand is just paper. The coin is just cheap metal. The number on your phone is just a number in a database somewhere. None of it has any real value of its own. You cannot eat it. You cannot build with it. The paper is barely worth anything as paper, and yet you would work a whole month for it. People have died for it. Entire countries have risen and collapsed over it. So what is going on here? The answer is that money is a story we all agree to believe at the same time. And once you see money that way, the whole history of it starts to make sense. So let us walk through it. And it really is a story with a plot. It has a beginning nobody expected, a few twists that sound made up, and an ending that is still being written right now, partly by you. Because the substance of money keeps changing. Shells, metal, paper, numbers. But the one thing underneath it never changes. Long before money, people just traded stuff. You have grain, I have fish, we swap. Simple enough, except it barely works. Think about it. For barter to work, I need exactly what you have, and you need exactly what I have, at the exact same moment. If the fisherman does not happen to want your grain today, you go home with nothing. You cannot run a village like that, let alone a civilization. So here's the question that actually matters. If barter is this clumsy, how did people trade at all before money existed? For a long time, we assumed barter was step one, and money was invented to fix it. Turns out, that is probably wrong. An anthropologist named David Graeber went looking for these barter societies, and he could barely find them. What he found instead, running underneath almost every early society, was something else entirely. Debt. Before coins, before cash, people just kept track. I help you build your house now. You owe me. Everyone remembers. The oldest financial records we have ever dug up are not piles of coins. They are lists of who owes what. Clay tablets from Mesopotamia, 5,000 years ago, carefully recording debts. So money did not grow out of the hassle of swapping fish. It grew out of keeping track of trust, which is a strange thought on its own. The first money was not a thing at all. It was a memory, a shared agreement about who owed who. And that is the thread running through this entire story. Every single time, money is really just a way of writing down trust. Which brings us to the first real money. And honestly, the best money anyone ever came up with might have been a shell. Cowrie shells. Small, tough, pretty, and impossible to fake. Used as money across Africa, Asia, and beyond by people who had never even heard of each other. More people use shells as money for longer than any coin or note in history. And the genius of it. You cannot counterfeit a seashell. Nature makes them, and that is that. Which quietly solves the biggest problem money ever has. Is this thing real, or is someone tricking me? With a shell, you never had to wonder. Here is a fact that sticks with you. The word salary comes from salt. Roman soldiers were sometimes paid in salt, because back then salt kept your food from rotting, so it was worth real money. When you call someone worth their salt, you are quoting a payroll system 2,000 years old. Then, around 600 BC, a kingdom called Lydia did something clever. They made the first standard coins. Same metal, same weight, stamped with a lion so you knew it was the real deal. And that lion stamp did something sneaky and brilliant. You no longer had to weigh the metal or test it every time. You just trusted the stamp. Trust moved off the object and onto the authority behind it. Hold on to that. It keeps happening. Coins also came with a quiet little anti-fraud trick you have literally been holding your whole life. See the ridges around the edge of a coin. Those are not decoration. Back when coins were real, silver, and gold, people would shave a sliver off the edge, keep the shavings, and spend the coin like nothing happened. So mints added ridges. Shave the edge, the ridges vanish, and everyone can see the coin has been tampered with. The gold is long gone from your coins. The ridges stayed. A 2,000-year-old security feature riding around in your pocket. Coins caught on everywhere. Greece, Persia, India, China, all within about a century. Not because they copied each other, because the same idea just makes sense once you need it. But coins had one annoying problem. They were heavy. Try carrying a fortune in metal across a country full of bandits and you will see the issue. China cracked it first. Merchants started leaving their coins with someone they trusted and walking away with a paper note instead. The note said, "This is worth that much." They called it flying money because it was so light. And it worked so well that the Chinese government started printing the real thing, the first paper currency on Earth. Just paper. Worth something only because the government said so, and everyone went along with it. And notice what just happened there. We went from money you could eat, salt, to money that was valuable as metal, gold, to money that was worth nothing at all on its own. Just a promise on paper. Every step, the thing got less real, and every step, it worked better. Because what we were actually trading was never the object. It was the trust. When Marco Polo saw this, he could not believe it. He went home to Europe and told everyone that the Chinese were paying for things with paper, and people thought he had lost his mind. Paper? Worth gold? Backed by nothing but a promise? Madness. It took Europe 400 more years to catch up. The first proper European banknotes showed up in Sweden in 1661. Same idea. Paper, worth whatever the bank promised. And as long as everyone believed the promise, it all worked beautifully. So what happens when people stop believing? This is the part nobody really teaches you. Every giant financial collapse you have ever heard of was not really money disappearing. It was a story falling apart. The bank never actually had enough gold. The promise was always bigger than the vault. In Germany in 1923, the story collapsed so hard that money became literally worthless. People papered their walls with cash because the paper was cheaper than actual wallpaper. In Zimbabwe in 2008, the government printed a $100 trillion note. It could not buy you a loaf of bread. The paper did not change. The belief did. And when the belief went, the money went with it. That is the part worth noticing. The paper in Germany was the exact same paper the week before, when it could still buy a house. Nothing physical changed. The only thing that broke was the story everyone had agreed to tell. Now here is something that happened in living memory, and almost nobody talks about it. In 1971, the United States quietly changed what money is. Before that, every dollar was technically a claim on real gold sitting in a vault. You could, in theory, swap your paper for the metal. After 1971, that line was cut. The dollar became backed by nothing you can hold. Just trust. Trust in the government, and the fact that the whole world agreed to keep using dollars anyway. Every major currency on Earth works this way now, backed by nothing but collective belief. If that makes you slightly uneasy, you are understanding it correctly. The money in your pocket is held up by the fact that everyone around you agrees to pretend it is worth something. And so far, they do. Which brings us right up to now. And the strangest twist in the whole story. Most of the money in the world today is not paper. It is not coins. It is not even sitting in a drawer somewhere. It is just numbers, glowing on screens, moving between computers, agreed upon by machines. Less than 1/10 of the world's money physically exists. The rest is pure digital agreement. Numbers. Trust. Story. Same as it ever was. When your salary lands, no truck of cash pulls up anywhere. A number in one database goes down, a number in another goes up. That is the whole event. We have arrived at money that is almost pure story. Barely any object left at all. And then there is Bitcoin, which forces the most interesting question in this entire story. Is it money? No government stands behind it. No metal. No lion stamp. No vault. What it has instead is a network of people who agree it is worth something, and a hard limit on how much can ever exist. No king, no government, no vault. Just a crowd agreeing, and some clever maths making sure nobody can print more. Which, if you have been paying attention, is exactly what every other kind of money has ever been. A shell was worth something because people agreed. A coin, because a king said so and people trusted the king. A dollar, because a government says so and the world plays along. Bitcoin is just the newest version of the oldest trick we have. The substance keeps changing. The agreement never does. So here is the thing to walk away with. Money might be the most powerful story our species has ever told. More people believe in it, every single day, more reliably than they believe in anything else. Someone who would never change their religion will still hand a stranger a piece of paper for a sandwich, trusting that the next person will take it too. And they are right, because everyone keeps believing. Billions of people, most of whom will never meet, all holding up the same story at once. That belief is the money, not the paper, not the coin, not the number. the story. And right now, with the cash in your pocket and the number on your phone, you are one of the people holding it up.